Welcome to Storytelling with Eth-No-Tec.
My name is Robert Kikuchi Ngoho.
And my name is Nancy Wong.
And we are Eth-No-Tec, here to take you on a streaming journey for your listening pleasure through some of our favorite stories, traditional myths and folk tales, as well as a few modern stories as well.
And in these chaotic and disparaging times, we look at stories that will bring us to a more enlightened awareness of the current events and current issues. And so every last Thursday of the month, we will bring these kinds of stories from the world of Asia and from the world of Asian America.
Because we strongly believe that between East and West, between old and new, there are pearls of wisdom that can illuminate how to live a better life, how to build a better society that's socially just and peaceful and celebrates both diversity and respect for all peoples.
And so we invite you to listen to these stories and how they relate to something that you have experienced. We invite you to listen with your heart.
And so we present a story from Tibet called The Contagion. There once was a rugged wilderness, sparsely populated by two feudal warring clans, nestled in lush valleys flanking either side of a snow-capped mountain ridge.
Yet, as lush and as lovely as these two valleys were, ruthlessness and violence was the law of the land. For each side, each clan would send in marauding warriors to each other's territories to pillage, raid, and murder their arch rivals, to avenge some previous atrocity.
For their hatred for each other was as solid as granite and as jagged as the mountain ridge that knifed between them.
Then, one day, a stranger appeared, a monk, wandering the narrow passage high on the mountain ridge that separated these two valleys. On one side he saw children gathering flowers in the glen and women washing clothes at the riverside and singing with each other, and men tending their yaks.
As the monk peered down on the opposite side, he saw a similar peaceful situation. Children laughing and playing, men thatching a roof, women tending the fire.
Suddenly, the clansmen on one side of the valley looked up at the mountaintop and saw, "Stranger! A stranger!"
The monk then peered down on the opposite side, and the men of that village had also spotted him and began pointing and shouting.
And in that one moment, each peaceful scene changed dramatically.
Oh, the mothers gathered up the children.
The elders hobbled home.
And these once peaceful shepherds grabbed their swords and spears and transformed at once into fierce warriors.
They were ready for war.
The monk watched as the two clans charged up the mountainside, ready to attack the assumed enemy.
When... what's this?
Yes. For lying in the middle of the path, between them was the monk, separating the two feudal factions.
Is this one of yours?
No, he must be one of yours. Look, he's a coward. He's awaiting his death.
Each side inched forward, ready to butcher the reclining man, when suddenly the stranger lifted his head and spoke.
Huh? I wouldn't get too close if I were you.
What, are you insane? Are you a leper? What would put you in the path of such destruction, you old fool?
There is a condition that is highly contagious.
What are the symptoms?
It is so infectious that when you get it, you hardly know you have it. But you feel it trembling deep in your soul. It moves into your head. You become totally disoriented. Then it seeps down into your heart, and a stillness engulfs your entire body. And when it gets that far, life as you've known it to be is over.
And now, the monk looked at the warriors and saw their weapons hanging by their sides, trembling, their belligerence and their bravado quelled. He then gazed at each warrior and with an inviting calmness confessed,
I have this infection. I have it in a most serious way. It's a contagion called Bodhicitta.
Bodhicitta?
Bodhicitta.
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 Men, run.
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 Run. Bodhicitta. Run. Bodhicitta, run. That evening, in one of the villages, a lone warrior sat in his favorite chair, staring into the fireplace and mulling over the thoughts of what he experienced on the mountaintop.
He looked at his family and saw his children giggling and playing games with each other on the floor. And then he saw the grandmother rocking the newborn and his wife brushing her hair and singing to herself.
He choked back some tears, and then something stirred in his throat. Oh no, a lump.
A lump. He tried to swallow, but the lump grew larger, and then he had this overwhelming ache in his chest, and he began to tremble.
Oh no, what if I caught the bodhicitta? I must have it. Oh no, and then I'll pass it on to my wife and my family. All of my loved ones, all of them lost.
He was sure that this was just the beginning of that horrible bodhicitta.
But he didn't want to let on to his family, and so he feigned a smile and began singing with his wife.
She smiled back at him. He hadn't sung with her for years.
She's smiling back at me. It's been so long. These might be our last moments together.
Meanwhile, in the other village, on the other side of the mountain, another warrior also sat, feeling the symptoms. He felt a stirring in his soul, his mind disoriented, and his thoughts pounded with his pounding heart as he thought about that contagious bodhicitta.
He turned to his sister and confessed, describing what he'd experienced on the mountaintop and what that ailing stranger must have given him.
And soon that bodhicitta was passed on to a farmer and his wife, and them to their children to their playmates to their parents, and on and on and on and on until no one was spared this bodhicitta.
And then one day, one of the villagers was traveling up the mountainside when he encountered an enemy villager. You too. Bodhicitta.
Yes, we all have it. Our entire village is infected.
Ours too. No one has been spared this contagion bodhicitta. Life is so different now. No, we've all surrendered to it. No one wants to waste any more foolish time. We have such precious moments now, and why waste it on foolish things like revenge or foolish anger?
Yes, we too no longer hold any resentment or hatred, even to all of you. We only wish to spend the remaining precious moments of our lives with our loved ones.
The two men nodded, knowingly, bid farewell, and then returned back home to be with their loved ones. And at that moment, the monk stepped into the light. He adjusted his robe and smiled.
He looked on one side of the mountain
And saw the children laughing and playing.
Grandmothers tending to their newborns.
The wives singing with their husbands.
He looked on the other side of the mountain and saw the same thing.
Yes, on both sides of the mountain, the enemies had been annihilated. Well, life as they had known it to be was over. But they were not killed by this. No, it was not death. No, they were very much alive, thriving in fact, and very much infected by the contagion, Boddhichitta.
Boddhichitta, the compassionate heart of an awakened mind. So old assumptions, old memories, old history, and still carry on as if it happens now. You know, sometimes some things don't change. For example, 40 years ago in the 1980s, Robert and I were walking home from where we parked our car to our apartment where I had been living for 15 years in this neighborhood called Pacific Heights, which is a wealthy white neighborhood, although I was only paying $135 a month. Well, we were on our way home when suddenly a police car drove up, slowed down, stopped, opened the window, and said to us, "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" We live here? And now, 40 years later, 2020, in the same district, Pacific Heights, the same situation has occurred in a different way. There's a Filipino American who was writing Black Lives Matter in chalk on a retaining wall. And a white woman and her husband came out to him and accused him of defacing private property. And the Filipino American said, "How do you know this isn't my property?" "Well, because we know the owner," which turned out wasn't even true. "I'm going to call the police." Filipino American man said, "Go ahead, call the police." So the police drove up,
Pushed a button for the window to go down.
and looked at the Filipino American man, smiled and waved, and drove back on. Because they had known this man. They knew that he had been living there for the last 8 years. Assumptions.
Assumptions. And this episode didn't stop right there. No, it was within a week. That same neighborhood, the same wall that had the graffiti on it. Well, what happened was that the neighbors started coming out, people from other parts, to help decorate the wall, and they included rainbows and peace signs and expressions
Flowers.
of social justice. Black Lives Matter was now celebrated with a diversity of colors.
Chalk all over, all these messages on the sidewalk in front of his home.
And that instance also, well, during this time, as people are protesting the brutality of the police, this message of peace and social justice has now spread out all throughout the world. In many cities, in many countries, internationally, people are speaking for racial justice.
And in America, every single ethnic group is out there protesting with the African Americans to support Black Lives Matter. And we have to do this. I mean, diversity is just is what enriches our lives. I mean, all over the forests and farmland and wherever, diversity is the way of life, and it's fine. Daisy does not accuse the daffodil of taking its space and running it over.
Imagine if you had a vegetable garden and all there was kale supremacy.
How about onion supremacy? We stink, we can take over.
Onions, though, they are diverse.
Everything's diverse.
Many kinds of onions. Red onions,
Green onions.
white onions, yellow,
Yellow onions, yes.
and of course, onion rings.
Not me. I like my onions sautéed in butter.
Well, that reminds me of a story.
Oh, yes, of course.
A story, yes. Let's launch into one.
All right. And it is called,
Wait, get ready.
from Korea,
It is called The Man
The Man Who Planted Onions. Yunal, Ajirenale. Once upon a time,
in a faraway place.
in a faraway land.
A land where people did not see people as people.
For when the people looked at people, they did not see people, they saw cows. Nah.
Can you imagine that? A time and a place when people looked at people and did not see people but saw cows.
Nah. So, sometimes because of this, people ended up eating people, oh yes, over rice and noodles, even in soup. But not because they wanted to, oh no, it was because they got confused.
Simply put, they thought they were eating cows.
So, If you weren't careful, you might end up eating your father or mother.
Your sister or brother.
Can you imagine a sadder plight than this? Not being able to tell which is a people and which is a cow?
Aigo mapsosa. This is a story of one such man who made one such mistake as this. He ate his own brother.
Oh, he ate his own brother.
Well, after a while, he realized what he had done, but it was too late.
It was
Too
late.
I'm leaving here, this land of fear, to search for a place I vow, to find a place where a human's face is not mistaken for a cow's.
And so this young man traveled throughout the world looking for such a place. Deep into the mountains, high over the seas, wide over the plains. But no matter where he went, people still did not see people as people. People saw people as
Cows.
Did I make tender, tasty cow today? Honey, time to eat. Honey. Honey, come in from work. It's time to eat. Honey? 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 My honey?
Yes, everywhere he went, people did not see people as people. People did not treat people as people. For people saw people as cows.
So, although he was a young man when he first started looking for such a place, he was now an old man still looking until one day.
No, no. Oh, no, wait. Don't treat me like a piece of meat.
Say, old man, from where do you come and where do you go?
What? Did I just hear you call me old man? That means you see me as a man. Oh, I've searched the world far and near to find a place where people see people and treat people like people and live not in fear.
Oh, yes. We too used to chase and eat our people as meat. But that was before we discovered a wonderful treat.
To eat?
To eat.
More meat?
No. Eat onions.
Onions?
Onions.
Onions?
Onions.
What are onions?
Well, they're these simple green shoots that grow out of the earth. They are simple to grow, and it's the end of your search. For by just eating onions, a cow is a cow, and people are people forever.
Wow. Kamsamida. Thank you, farewell. I shall remember your kindness, and my neighbors will as well.
So the man hurried home as quickly as he could, and as soon as he got there, he plowed the land, planted those precious onion seeds, and he was so excited that he ran to tell all his old friends the good news. But no matter who he met...
No. Wait. Can't you see? Don't you remember? Remember me.
No, just a noisy cow, an old noisy cow. Quick, let's catch him now.
Meow. Oh.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but unfortunately, that man was eaten up this very day. And now the people say that he was, well,
Well, what?
well done.
Well done indeed.
Well.
Well, life went on in his hometown as usual. People losing their fathers and mothers.
Their sisters and brothers.
Day after day, until one day, the people saw some green shoots growing out of the garden of the old man.
So they plucked one.
And another.
And another.
And another.
And they tasted them.
Strange, but pleasant. Here, pass them out. A good tasting food, without a doubt. Wow. Oh, wow.
Look at all the people people.
They all have a face.
Hey, you're looking good.
Over there.
You're looking good too.
Over there.
Nice to see you. Hi.
Oh, they all have a face.
They don't look like
Not
cows.
even a trace. Indeed, it is
A
magic.
miracle.
Onions made the difference.
Oh, you
too?
Oh. Well, the people finally realized what the old man had done for them, so they quickly ran to find him to thank him.
But it was too late.
It was too late.
Kuritamida.
It happened like that. But still, people finally do see people as people. And boy, are people happy about that, and cows are.
Oh, poor cows are stir-fried.
With onions. But do not relax too much, my friends.
Boy, if someone tries to push you
Or grab you.
or cut you,
Oh, just walk away.
no, run away as fast as you can.
Because still today, there are some people who still see people as just a piece of meat.
So, eat your onions.
So the world will be safe
Please eat your onions.
before it's too late. Or they just might try to get you. So please eat your onions. Please. We need people to see people as people.
And treat people as people.
Yes, and perhaps you've been reading about the fact that Asian Americans are being attacked and violated and blamed for this pandemic. Of course, because there are some you-know-whos who have been calling it the Wuhan or the China flu instead of the COVID-19.
And so anyone who is Asian is obviously, they're to be blamed. They're the ones.
And they're all Chinese because we all look alike.
So people have been brutalized.
Yeah, children, 3 and a 6-year-old slashed across the face with a knife. It's insane. Spit on, kicked, beaten up, pushed.
Well over 1,500 incidents of hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Have been recorded so far, and you know that there are those that have not been reported. So it's crazy. And as we have already talked about how diversity is what enriches our lives, and I know all of you know that, but we have to fight for it. We have to protest for it. We have to sign petitions for it. Whatever way we can, talk to people that you don't usually want to talk to.
Our voices need to be heard, and we need to stand together, and we need to really pull ourselves together and find ways that we can help each other.
And of all people, storytellers know how to do that.
And that reminds me of a story.
Oh,
Let's do one.
okay. We're going to end with this little tiny story, and it's from China,
Very short story.
and it is called Heaven and Hell.
In hell,
there's an elegant banquet laid before the people, tantalizing dishes, dazzling desserts, the finest cuisine. But in hell, the people must eat with 3-foot-long chopsticks.
They struggle and strain. There's torture and pain as each craving soul tries to feed oneself.
The people starve. Such is hell. Ah, but in heaven it is very different. In heaven, there's an elegant banquet laid before the people, tantalizing dishes, dazzling desserts, the finest cuisine. And in heaven, the people must also eat with 3-foot-long chopsticks. But there is no struggle or strain, for in heaven, the people use their 3-foot-long chopsticks to help feed one another. Such is heaven.
So on that heavenly note, help each other, serve each other, find ways to make it better for all people
Because
in your life.
we can do it. We really can do it. And it is past time.
Yes. And it is it's on time, but also past time now for us to pass on time. It's the end of our streaming this time. But we'll do it again. In fact, we'll do it every last Thursday of the month. Mark your calendars for that.
Yes, always at 5 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific
And
Standard Time.
if you like what you've seen, Eth-No-Tec is almost reaching its 40th year of serving the community. Schools and libraries and community centers and theaters and festivals all around the United States, sometimes some international projects. We're a nonprofit organization, and if you like what you've seen, definitely find ways to help support us, donate to us.
And you can do that through our website or through the tip jar on live streaming, which will go right to PayPal, or Venmo. Just look up Nancy A. Wang, W-A-N-G.
Yes, and if you are interested in taking a workshop, we're doing an online workshop of storytelling coming up in August. So that'll be coming up in a few months. And so just pay attention. We'll send out some notices of that.
Yeah.
Or write to us. And you'll see the website on the outro that we give you.
And if you don't want to wait for another episode, and by the way, you can always, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like us on Facebook. But our episodes will be there that you can then let your friends know all about it. But we also have CDs and DVDs and other
Merch.
cultural products that you can order, and we'll send them to you. You just go onto our website.
All right, so signing off here. My name is Robert Kikuchi Ngoho.
And my name is Nancy Wang.
We are called Eth-No-Tec.
And we thank everybody out there for tuning in with us.
Yes.
And we thank all those who are helping us put all of this together in this new technology.
So as we sign off here, we'd like you to tell your stories, listen to other stories, and most important, listen
Listen with your heart. Thank you. Bye-bye.